So 6 years ago, I was grinding away, working 50 hours a week as a full-time glorified YouTube creator on my main channel that now has over 180,000 subscribers. Since then, I've stopped or paused that channel to focus on business. But basically, I was a full-time influencer. And at the time, I was making around $20,000 a month. My husband had quit his job to do this with me. And you might roll your eyes at that, but this was 6 years ago when the industry was sort of new and there was so much promise. There still is, obviously still do this full time, but in a different way. And to maybe people that don't want to necessarily be at home as much, I am a cycle homeschool mom, okay? And so I have 4 kids I homeschool and I'm about to have a 5th. And so I only want to work minimal hours so that I can be with my kids. I don't want to outsource my kids. And so although I was making around 20 grand a month, I had to do things that felt very disaligned with my values. And so I had to chase sponsors. I had to rely on an algorithm to feed my family. If my views tanked, so did my income. So my stress was at an all-time high, and I had been chasing this business where I felt like the top of the pinnacle is financial freedom, right? If I could just quit my desk job, be at home with my baby, which is what I had initially started this business out to do, then I could, basically work for myself and I could be my own boss. But I didn't realize that I would have to sacrifice so much of my time and my energy and honestly just my mental bandwidth to appease all of these mini bosses in the form of brands for sponsorships. And I also had to appease a mass amount of people and keep the views up, the eyeballs coming to me at all times and be on all the time through Instagram, through YouTube, through my blog, through emailing my audience. And it felt very disaligned to myself as a mother and as a wife and someone that wanted to honestly not necessarily be a career woman, but have a career online that didn't own my whole life. And so I had to change everything about how I operated my business. I no longer wanted to be a full-time YouTuber. I, in fact, resented that. And although I look back and I feel bad because I should have been so grateful for my audience, and I was, but at the same time, I knew things had to change for me to do this consistently and not have this self-induced burnout disease, in my experience, in my opinion, that so many YouTubers face. Because really, it's not burnout. They just chose the wrong strategy. And so I talk about this in a lot of my videos. But in today, the thing and the catalyst that enabled me to continue on year after year, I'm going on year 10 of being on YouTube. And this catalyst now allows me to work 1 day a week. And my husband and I earn from this small channel right now, regardless of whether you think I'm a scammer or believe me or not, over $1.2 million from this channel. The thing that changed everything started with a single ebook. And so by the end of this video, I'm basically gonna break down exactly how I went from a time-sucking influencer model to a scalable YouTube creator-based business and why selling your own products will always beat sponsorships. And I'm gonna give you all the tea and whatever the Gen Zers call it these days. I'm gonna talk about where my income came from when I was making the 20K a month, how much I made per sponsor, how much AdSense was paying me. But if you guys are new here, my name is Hayley, and I basically teach up-and-coming YouTubers how to build assets that they own in the form of digital products, courses, consulting businesses, which is what really I do with my husband, and how to create a faucet of leads that you control on your YouTube channel so that you don't have to rely on algorithms that you don't. And so if that interests you, subscribe down below. Let's go ahead and start with talking about the influencer income trap and why so many of you guys watching right now can't grow, you can't make money, you're on the path to burnout and you just don't even know it yet. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is an actual breakdown of how much I made when I was a full-time creator on my main channel called Hayley Page. It's still there, you can look at it. It is cringe because I started it when I was like 20 years old and I'm 33 now, so don't shade me really. But, I just basically started documenting my journey being a mom. I was a mommy influencer. And yes, it's cringe now. I would not do that right now. Document everything about my family. I didn't do necessarily like full-blown like family vlogs sometimes, but I will say I didn't know what I know now. So don't judge me. Okay, we all have our own journey. So let's break down what it actually looks like to make 20K a month as a full-time influencer on YouTube. I also had an Instagram presence of around 30,000 followers at the time. And so that did help. Sponsors did pay more back then than they do now because it's saturated, obviously. All right, so we have YouTube AdSense. So for around 200,000 views per month, okay, that's because I was getting a lot of views from viral videos, but my average view count across the videos per month was around 30 to 45,000 views. Some of them were 15,000, some of them were 200,000. And so the wave would go up and down because I was trying all different niches, all different categories, because I was scarce. I was scared, I was fearful, and I was doing this full time and I needed views to pay the bills. And so AdSense for moms specifically is a lot less than what I can make. Like motherhood as a niche is a lot less than what I can make as like a YouTube creator who gives YouTube tips, because the advertisers are willing to pay more. They make more money if they promote a camera on my channel and people buy it versus diapers. You know what I mean? I don't know what the heck I'm making right now on AdSense. I have no idea because I don't care at all, but I will put it on the screen so you guys are enlightened. So this is for this channel. So I'm going to put the AdSense that I made within 30 days on this channel on the screen because I was posting 3 times a week on my motherhood channel. I forgot to mention that. So sponsorships over on that channel when I was a full-time YouTube creator was $12,000 a month. I can imagine it might be around the same right now. That was one sponsored YouTube video a week, sometimes more on Instagram. Affiliate program. So this is Amazon reward style. You know, you want a link to this dress, I'll give you a link and I get a percentage cut from Nordstrom, that kind of thing. Or I'll link my Keurig at the time, you know? So I didn't do a lot of this because it is exhausting and I didn't want to have to like put my kids in daycare or school. Like I said, I'm kind of a psycho homeschool mom, so I want to be with them a lot. And because of that, there's not a lot of time to push affiliate links. It is the most time consuming thing, in my opinion, you can do as an influencer, is focus your income streams on affiliate linking, because you got to link to make more money. It's way more trade your time for money, but it depends on what you like to do. Fashion, I understand. So I was making $4,500 a month from affiliate programs. So linking stuff. So miscellaneous. So this is blog ads. I wasn't a big blogger. Content licensing, which is basically just UGC, user generated content. This was around $2,000 a month. Basically, I sold the rights to the footage that I would create. So I did this for Enfamil, which was at the time something, I'm a crunchy homeschool mom, like I said now, so I would never use it, but it's like prenatal vitamin, baby products on Etsy. So this is like swaddles, personalized baby blankets, things like that. Maternity dresses, I'm still on Amazon for suppliers on Amazon. So I sell them the rights to my video and footage, basically. Strollers, airbrush makeup. I was in Parents Magazine. So all of these things were just like bonuses because they didn't happen consistently. It was like, oh my gosh, this is very rare, but yes, I'll take your $2,000 and you can have the rights to my footage. Some people don't care about that. They want to be more anonymous online. I do not care. I was just trying to feed my kids and pay the bills. That sounds amazing, right? For people that are on this path, like I just got a DM the other day, Hayley, don't really want to do digital products. I do makeup, right? I understand your thought process, although you can totally make a makeup course and make more money and work way less than anything else, or coaching on it. So like there's so many things you can do. A membership even, like people think digital product, they think a course. Well, this doesn't fit my niche, or this isn't what I want to do. I want to do sponsors, but like you do not realize what you're signing up for if you want any resemblance of your time back. You're trading your job for a job that probably you're going to work double the amount of time in most niches. And this isn't just based off of my experience, it's my colleagues, it's my close friends who are influencers. And you also don't realize that in order for me to make all of this happen, it took me 5 years. So I talk a lot on this channel about the YouTube purgatory phase, where you have to figure out how to have an on-camera presence, how not to look dead in the eyes, how to have tonality, and all these things that I strive to have to keep you watching, right? It takes a long time. It takes 100-ish videos, in my opinion, or more. And so you have to go through that grind in order to grind even more, to work for all of these mini bosses, which are all the brands that now control your channel and that are your mouthpiece for. So let me pause right there. It's not that I don't like sponsors. In fact, I just did one with Descript, which is like an AI video editing tool. I love sponsors, but I don't want them to have to feed my family. I don't want them to be the backbone of my business. I want it to be like, oh, this is some nice fun money, you know? I always have a stable income. Oh, look, there's a bonus this month. That's what I want to see sponsors as, and that is what I choose to right now, starting with an ebook, which we'll get to in a minute. And so the worst part about this business model that so many of you guys are striving for, and if you don't realize you're striving for it, if you're like, I don't want to be a mommy influencer like her, but if you're just focused on views, that is what you're doing. It doesn't matter if I was in a different niche than you and you're in fishing or you're in accounting. Like, I don't care. If you're just looking at growth in relation to views, you're signing your name on the red dotted line to emulate this type of business model. And it doesn't matter the niche you're in, the reality is the same for most of you guys. And so at the time, if I wanted to make more money, I had to trade more of my time. And here's where things got interesting, okay? I was at my wit's end. I didn't really want to scale this business because it meant that I was a worse mother, worse wife, right? You can't really outsource yourself. You can't clone yourself when you are a personal brand. And because I had no idea that a tiny ebook would completely shift the trajectory of my whole life and my business, and how I was able to sustain this business path that so many of you guys are on and not burn out, when I was always on the verge of burnout, I launched what I called then the YouTube Success Guide, okay? So I thought, I'll just sell an ebook and I will make money, because I saw people weren't doing this on YouTube at the time. They were not, okay, 6 or 7 years ago. They were really just selling courses. Ebooks were more for blogs, and yeah, they sold them on YouTube, but it was very rare. I mean, at least what I was looking at, I didn't see a ton of them. Now it's everywhere. Everyone's selling digital products, right? And you might think it's saturated, which I'll get to in a minute. But once I launched that, something crazy happened. And within one day, 1,000 people downloaded my free, it was free at the time, YouTube Success Guide ebook. And that was the moment I realized, oh, I don't need millions of views. I don't need to appease brands and all of the sponsored ads that I had to do, and also the views on my YouTube. I just needed to target and reach the right people who are willing to pay me. And so although it started with an ebook, most people think that in order to make a lot of money, you need a ton of different ebooks. That's what a big strategy is on Instagram. But again, I don't want to trade a lot of my time for money. I want to make one thing and have that scale and just focus on content one day a week. That is all I work on, content. I don't want to be a hustler on Instagram like I used to be. And so I started with a very basic funnel. So they downloaded my ebook. I upsold them, yes, into a course, which a lot of people have strong opinions on. I don't sell courses right now because I do group coaching, not because they're wrong, but I just do group coaching at this moment in time. But at the time, I sold a course, and within 3 days of launching that, I made my first $40,000. All I had to do was make the course. And I loved it because it was contracted out over 6 months. It was like I knew money was coming in, and I just had to work for a very condensed period of time to promote the product. And it was like a steady paycheck that I knew was coming month after month after month, versus not knowing if the sponsors were going to contact me this month, or how much I'd get paid next month, or if my views were going to grow or stay consistent the next month. So now I'm going to break down basically what our over $1 million business looks like with a small YouTube channel. So I no longer post, because for years people would say, well, you post on that, it's coming from that. No. So any of my students right now will tell you, most of them never watched me for years ago on my old channel. All of the people that we work with right now, I would probably say 95%, even 100%. I don't know. I have to check, but they come from this channel. And so what does that look like? How am I able to out earn so many people in my niche with a relatively small and growing and revived YouTube channel? I've only posted 10 videos on this old dead channel that just sat here for years. We posted random podcasts on whenever we felt like. How am I able to do that? So this is what our funnel looks like. This is what the income, streams look like. And I'm going to break it down just like I did the traditional model. So I don't rely on sponsorships at all, or AdSense. Don't even know what it is anymore, because that's very stressful for me. And I, want to not be a stressed mom who is not fun. So where does my money actually come from? So this is my current income breakdown. It's very, very simple. I run what I call a minimalist business model, because the less moving parts, the less I stress, and the less people I have to hire and manage. Okay. So 70% of our income from this $1.25 million business comes from high-level coaching programs. So this is 70%. This is the link. I'm going to be very transparent. I always say, I know it sounds like I'm selling you, like I am, but I'm also telling you exactly what I do. So whatever, depends on who's watching it and how they'll take this, but it's the link in the top of the description. So if you click the link, you go through a whole page. There's a 2-hour training. You can watch it if you want, on all the ins and outs of what I'm talking about right now. And if this type of business model is right for you, because it's not right for everybody. Some people want to go on the grind path, dare I say, okay? I know I'm so harsh, but it's because I did it and I really just killed myself for years. And so they want to do that, and this is not for them. You have to be the right type of person. You have to be willing to be an authority. You can't be someone that just wants to, you can be someone that wants to entertain and sell a YouTube course, I guess. But anyways, if you click the link in the top of the description and in the top of the pinned comment, if I remember, you will see this long page of testimonials and you're able to book a call. So this is high level coaching, all right? You book a call, you get more information, you sign up, you work with us for 6 months of coaching. You talk to us directly, you get help. We teach you basically how to do this business, right? The 20% of this business that we run is from affiliates. So this is actually much bigger than before when I was just shilling like, dresses and bed sheets and clothing and makeup. I would just barely earn anything. What I realized is you have to be very strategic and committed to the few affiliates that you want to promote if you want to make the most amount of money. So the ones that we promote the most are software. So software pays you the most because it's recurring, okay? Like if you just sell, and that's the whole point of this business and why it's so powerful. It's build a recurring business model that pays you month after month after month versus like I sell one shirt and they buy it one time. I do one sponsorship and I'm only getting paid the 2 to 3K for that one sponsorship, right? One time. Whereas if you sell group coaching, people sign on month after month, year after year after year, and you upsell those people into a higher program and you add on levels to the ladder, which I talk about in How to Build a Ladder-Based Business. I'll link it up here and down below. You can watch it after that. You should for sure watch it. It's How to Make $1 Million with Kids. It's recurring. So people have more than one way to pay you. You're not just paid one time. So it all just massively stacks. And that's how we're able to make so much money with videos that sometimes go viral. And I post very sporadically because my life is so full with the homeschooling and all the things I do as a mom. I'm very selective about what we promote through affiliates so that it is recurring and it is Kajabi. So Kajabi, this is not even an ad, like at all. It is just something that we naturally get paid through our courses and coaching programs because it is how we teach people. It is basically like a website platform. It hosts webinars, it does email, it does landing pages, sales funnels, all those things it does. And so 20% of that income that we make, that large number, comes from Kajabi. It's a very natural thing that we promote. I don't do videos on Kajabi. I don't talk about them at all. My students buy it. And so it's very strategic and very intentional. And they don't have to. We help them with whatever. It's just what we use. So 10% is YouTube AdSense and I guess sponsorship. So that's like the last thing that goes. So the best part is that I'm able to do all of this, run this business working 1 day a week. So we have 4 people that work for us. None of them are full-time and they help me coach my students. They edit my videos. They post on social media. They send my emails. They follow up with people and I don't do any of that. It did take a couple months of sacrifice. You have to hire and train these people, trust these people, interview them, find them. That is an upfront amount of time, the sacrifice we talk about. But it will give me years of being able to work 1 day a week on content and they do everything else. So I obviously could have doubled down on AdSense, made my videos better, did more sponsorships, but that just left me with having less time with my family. And so I had to scratch all of that. It was the biggest shift in my personal life, in my business. I've never been more stressed when I made that decision in my whole life. I told myself, okay, my husband and I agreed that we had 3 months of figuring it out, not taking any sponsors, not pushing any affiliate links, to pursue this no man's land of digital products because we didn't personally know anyone doing it. I know everyone thinks you can make so much money, but you don't give any value. Like absolutely not. We do high level coaching. We talk to them ourselves. Like we do still work for our money, but we just out earn most people and work way less because we take home 90% of the profits that we sell with our revenue because we own the product. So we started building something scalable, something that would stack over time. And it started with the ebook. It went to a course. It went to a high level coaching program. It then went to a membership of the high level coaching program. Then it went to a mastermind, which we're about to add on this year. And so it sounds overwhelming, but it's very simple. You just start with one rung to the ladder. Remember, I referenced that video. You should watch that after this. We'll explain it in detail. And you go from there. So once you have the opt-in, your ebook, right, that you give for free, because if you're charging for ebooks now, it's not worth your time. Like you need to sell something more expensive in any niche. I don't care if it's homemaking, because then you won't need to appease and grow a massive audience in order to hit your income goals. Very simple. It's just math, okay? And so you just add a rung to your ladder or a way people can pay you when you can. So every 6 months, we like to add something new to our suite of products. And that is how we're able to live this type of lifestyle and build this type of business. We kind of do it opposite to most people in the niche. I do not go on Instagram very much. I really just focus on one quality YouTube video minimum every single week, and that is what we've been able to do. So that is pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys got value and an insight into the two different paths that you are inevitably signing up for. And let me just say real quick, if you're just focused on growing on YouTube, you're going the creator path that I talked about initially. If you don't want to go that path, and if you want to own more of your time and be really your own boss, not the mouthpiece for hundreds of other brands and have less of your time, right? You shouldn't just be focused on views. You should be focused on sales, selling your own product, starting that process before you're ready. And so that is pretty much everything I have to say for this video. If you liked it, subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.